Hello, this is Jerry the King Lawler from WWE Smackdown, and right now you're listening to Journey into Wrestling. I don't know why you're listening, but you are.
To a nicer guy, it couldn't happen.
I am the man of the hour, the man with the power.
Diamonds are forever.
He put hard times on Dusty Rhodes and his family.
And what you gonna do, Andre?
History beckons the Macho Man. Yeah.
The best there is, the best there was.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
2 words for ya.
2 words.
And yes, a man. The champ is here.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Journey into Wrestling, one of the baddest podcasts on the interwebs today. I'm your host, Nate Phillips. As always, I'm joined by two of the greatest tag team champions that have never existed, Brando and Padraic. Welcome to the fucking show. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
That's awesome. It's good to hear you guys. We did this last week, and there's so much shit to talk about. We're just doing it again.
Part 2.
We're kind of making this a habit, part 2 of this thing. But wrestling's really good right now. We were just doing Journey into Comics before we came on the air and did this show, and I said there, wrestling right now is great. Now, we had a big weekend just this past weekend. It was Summer Slam weekend, obviously one of the big pay-per-views of the year. One of the 19 pay-per-views we'll now be getting. Shame for the people that are still going to pay $60 19 times this year.
Can you even do that?
I don't know. Or don't they have regular pay-per-view buyers still? I mean, they would have to, right?
They don't even mention that anymore, like on their television. They just have gone completely to we don't even say that. Like, I'm surprised that I remember for a while. I'm surprised that they were still using the term pay-per-view, because I remember they were saying that they were going to drop it in the term of another favorable term for the network, but they never really did.
Yeah, I think that I know that Comcast dropped, and I want to say that a lot of the cable providers were upset because the whole $10 a month, and they called that undercutting. I feel like that there was at least one satellite company that still offered it, but I could be wrong.
Maybe Dish.
Yeah, something like that, I think.
I also think, not to cut you off, Nate, but I think that maybe some of these companies make exceptions for WrestleMania, since that's such a big multimedia show, not only just wrestling. I want to say this year, I think DirecTV hasn't had them on, but then for WrestleMania they brought them back just for that.
Yeah. So, we're here officially, and I'm excited to talk about it. We didn't really give our full-on predictions for NXT, but Padraic, do you want to kind of give us the rundown of what happened on NXT, and we'll talk about it?
Sure, yeah, I can.
Sweet.
They had the 3 shows in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York weekend, which was NXT, Summer Slam, and RAW. And NXT was the first one there. Night 1 for all the wild wrestling fans. I'll run through the card. You can go back and see if there's anything you want to say about the matches. Austin Aries, he defeated No Way Jose with a submission. Ember Moon made her debut, and she defeated Billie Kay. Bobby Roode made his NXT wrestling debut, and he defeated Andre Almas. The Revival, the NXT Tag Team Champions, they kept the title. They defeated Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa, is that how you say it, I think?
Yeah.
Okay. Asuka defeated Bayley, so Bayley didn't get to win the title again in Brooklyn like she did last year, like she was hoping. And Nakamura actually did defeat Samoa Joe, and he is the new NXT champion right now after defeating Joe. As far as the Austin Aries and No Way Jose. I like the build to that match, and I thought it was okay. It was really kind of highlighted by the return. Well, he's been on TV, but I'm having a
Hideo Itami.
yes, he came back and he actually did hit the go to sleep on Austin Aries, which I think was probably the highlight of the whole match. I don't know about you guys, but to me that was a big thing for me with that match.
The match was pretty standard. It wasn't anything special to write home about. But I agree with you, having Itami come out as Austin. I believe he was giving a post-match beatdown to No Way Jose. And Hideo comes in for the save and hits the move that he invented, the GTS. And I remember for a while, he was just doing some sort of like running knee type thing for a finish. And then they kept teasing that he might hit the GTS. And the crowd wants it, just let him use it. He invented the move, Punk took it, kept it the same name out of respect, just like the Koji clutch has been used by a couple of different guys, kept the same name. Itami's great. I am a fan of Austin Aries going back to Ring of Honor. I think he's a great worker. This match had, it was okay. Definitely wasn't like anything to write home about on this card, but good opener.
Any thoughts, Nate?
It was an all right match between No Way Jose and Austin Aries. But as you guys said, the highlight of that match was Hideo Itami returning to nail the GTS. It was pretty cool. Is that the first time it's been used since Punk has left the company?
No, I want to say Itami's hit it a couple times. But it literally, I cannot think of more than 5 times that he's used it on television.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was he teases it a lot, and that makes everybody want it. He did finally hit.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to have him hit that, though. I really enjoyed it.
And the announcers, Corey Graves in particular, he wanted to stress that he was the one who invented that move.
Yeah, which was good. I mean,
yeah.
a lot of. Well, it's weird, man. I don't even know. The product is so different, and obviously there are people like us who have stuck around and watched who know the history, but I feel like they're drawing a lot of new eyes into this company, and I don't think a lot of people know Punk in the current product because they don't do a lot of things that are synonymous with what his time around the company was.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree.
So then go on.
Ahead, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, we were moving on to that first match. What was after that?
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that the next match was Ember Moon defeated Billie Kay. This match, to me, also was nothing real big, but I did like her finishing move, that twisting stunner that she did off the, I think it was the second rope.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a really cool visual for a finishing move. Do you have anything to say about it, Brando?
Not much, other than the same. If Stone Cold lost his shit when Cena did the springboard stunner to Rusev at WrestleMania 31, I can only imagine what he thought when he saw Ember Moon do a flip and land it. I mean, it's almost kind of like I think Petey Williams did the Canadian Destroyer. Not only did he take the pile driver, but he added a flip with it to make it even crazier. It's like now we're adding like what are we going to see next? It's like going to be a flipping like Olympic slam.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Or like a flipping pedigree where you grab them and then you do a complete flip and then drop them.
That would maybe kill them.
It probably would.
I'm just throwing it out there. That sounds like a terrible game plan.
It would not work as well as it would work as if you did it with action figures. So
I aim into that, brother.
Hey, did you have anything to add or?
Nah, I mean the women's division, not just in the WWE, but obviously in NXT, is constantly growing and evolving. It's nice that they're getting new faces down there in NXT. Ember Moon was really good, I thought. I really enjoyed her work, but again, it wasn't like they didn't do something that was Sasha Bailey worthy. You know, they didn't make me go, oh my God, I need to rewatch this match 6 times and see all the crazy shit they did. It was just a good match. I mean, there's no fault in just having a solid match. That's what you need for a debut, especially on a major pay-per-view like that. I know it's not a pay-per-view, but you know what I'm saying. A major event like that.
With all the women that moved up and then Bailey going, so they were trying to introduce a new woman. So, I mean, that move was a good way to get your attention on this.
Yeah.
The next match, Bobby Roode and Andre Almas. Bobby Roode defeated him. The match, I think that I don't know. To me, their styles was really weird together. But, I mean, the match wasn't bad. I'm a big fan of Bobby Roode. I think that, I don't know, man. He did so many cool things in the match, and then that finishing move that he did was kind of like, I don't know. I've seen him so many years in a TNA. I feel like he could probably do a better move, but I mean, it was okay though. I liked the match. The match was good. I'm a big Bobby Roode fan, like I said. So, did you have any thoughts, Brando?
For as glorious as Bobby Roode is, he took Road Dogg's finishing move.
Mm-hmm.
And Road Dogg, all due respect, Mr. Brian James, Mr. Armstrong, you're not glorious.
No.
Bobby Roode, man, I don't know. I love the entrance. I love the music. It's great. It's unique. It really makes him seem like a big deal. And Bobby Roode is a great, fantastic wrestler. He is money. He's a money heel for WWE down the road. The fact that he made his wrestling debut here, I kind of agree. It's kind of a weird little bit of shift of style, but it still worked. And that crowd was so behind him. I mean, his finish is definitely one of the worst finishes I've ever seen was Wade Barrett's Wasteland finisher.
Yeah.
Okay. And
not like that at all.
He picks him up like a fireman's carry and just like drops blah. He's like, take that.
Yeah.
Might as well call the move throwing out the garbage.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And this one is almost like you take that garbage bag and you instead of just picking it up and dropping it, you fling it up on your shoulder and then hold it out and then drop it. And it just, I'm excited for Bobby Roode to be in the WWE. That's the number one thing here. I'm just excited that he's here. And on a bit of a side note, I read that Eric Young is finally signed.
Yes.
So I just want to note that 3 of the matches on this card had ex-TNA talents, and the fans know exactly who they are. They've had enough exposure, and WWE for so many years it seemed like they were just so anti-TNA. They didn't want to sign anybody from there. We didn't want to use them, but now when they have them come through, bring them up through NXT, like people, of course, because what do they say about Bobby Roode? He's won championships all over the world. He's won championships in TNA. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
It's like they say that so that way they don't have to say TNA, And I know not all of these guys are going to have the same success as like an AJ Styles is having right now, but I honestly think Bobby Roode is young enough and good enough that when he gets to that main roster, he's going to make a splash. He's going to be that breath of fresh air of a heel.
Hey, I want to get your thoughts as well on the match, but before, I just want to say, I didn't even think about it being Road Dogg's finisher. I can say I am glad that he didn't hump him like Road Dogg used to do before.
Yeah, no, I thought, here's my thing. It seemed like they spent a lot of the match going, Andre Almas has never lost, and it's a big deal, but it's not really a big deal because you let him get beat by Bobby Roode, and you're clearly sending a message there. Andre Almas, you're a new guy. We're trying to make you eventually a star. Bobby Roode's already a star proven. We're just going to put him over and kind of brush you aside. But while they worked nicely together, I think their styles were very conflicting. The match didn't have chemistry like I like to see in a great wrestling match. The build wasn't as much as I wanted it to be, and then ultimately, as you guys have reiterated several times, the finish was just lackluster. It really didn't give me what I wanted in the Bobby Roode debut, but I'm stoked that he's here, and I'm not going to judge his entire, WWE future on one match that, it is what it is. You're not going to get the match back. So,
Right.
That's all I really have on that one.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you guys start off the talk with this next one, but it's the Revival, and the NXT Tag Team Champions, and they retain their titles against Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. I will say that I'll just say a little bit. I did like the match a lot, and it really reminded me a lot of Arn Anderson and Colby Blanchard. It was a really old school tag team match, and I really enjoyed it. But Nate, did you have any thoughts that you wanted to say about this match?
Liked the match. Genuinely shocked that the Revival went over. I mean, I'm a little bit behind on the Cruiserweight Classic. It's on currently while we're having this podcast, and I'm just kind of looking up and seeing bits and pieces of some of these matches. But I know that Johnny and Tommaso went head-to-head against each other in the Cruiserweight Classic, and there's a little bit of quote-unquote drama there, and they mad respect for each other because they are partners. One of them won, one of them did not. But I kind of was hoping that this would be a little bit of the redemption, and they would get the titles, and then you could take the Revival and move them up. I don't think, honestly, that the WWE has a shortage of tag teams right now at all. But I just really want to see the Revival get in there with some of the tag teams that are right now. You know what I'm saying? There are some really great tag teams that they could be working with. I mean, I know you don't know if Jericho will be a team for much longer, but Jericho versus the Revival would be one hell of a match. It'd be totally different. Another match with Enzo and Cass. I mean, you've got all these different venues, all the Hype Bros. You go anyway. I mean, it's hard to say because some of these guys have had matches with the Revival in NXT before they got brought up. But, it's just the star power is rising now. The Revival are really well known now. They're 2-time NXT Tag Team Champs, the first team to ever do that. So I really wanted there to be a change of the guard. We'll get to the change of the guard later because they did do something that, while I called it, I was not expecting them to do. But I liked the match. The finish was good. I mean, solid. It was maybe the second best match of the night, honestly.
Your thoughts, Brando?
This match stole the show for me. I'm gonna hype this match up even more so. I agree with you, Pad, that Revival they give that old brainbuster vibe. And it's not just the jackets. They do old school heel tag team wrestling, and that is something that sometimes just is missing. Throughout the years, you get so many tag teams and then there's like a lull in tag teams, and you have the same sort of tag team dynamic. The heel works on a guy for so long, then he gets the hot tag. They do that here, but it's better. It is tag team wrestling, and I was pulling for Dash and Dawson to win this match because, unlike Nate, I don't want them to go up yet. I want these guys to be the guys to beat. And right now, while there is not a shortage of tag teams in the WWE main roster, there is a shortage of tag teams in NXT. And Revival needs to be the team that is working these guys up, getting there to be a team worthy enough to replace them. And which, by all means could be, Gargano and Ciampa down the line. But, when that time comes, there needs to be some more teams here that are pushing up. And while you do have the team with Ellering, and then the team that was it TM61.
The Ellering team is the Authors of Pain, right?
Authors of Pain, yeah.
Authors of Pain. So those guys are coming up. But I mean, to me, Revival is just the pinnacle of what tag team wrestling is. Whether you're on the main roster or not, these guys are freaking good, and they are also good on the mic, and they are just that great, awesome. I absolutely loved that one spot where they're going for that tag, and the dude grabbed him from outside the ring and just dropped him, and it was just it's such a cool old school move, and I loved it. It was great match, great finish. It was heartbreaking too. That's what I loved about it. It was like, because the fans were so behind Gargano and Ciampa, they were giving real heel heat to the Revival, even though obviously they have respect and they like the Revival, they like to watch them work, but they had so much. They told such a great story that they wanted them to win, and then you get that heartbreaking moment when they don't, and then it was still such a great match that, of course, the baby faces got a real good pop and reaction when they left, and it's probably my match of the night.
Really liked it a lot too. Now, you did say that the fans are really behind the other team, and I'm going to use that to segue into this next match because I'm a fan, and I was really behind Bayley in the NXT Women's Championship. I like them both, but I knew that Bayley wasn't going to win. I knew it was about time for her to come up, but it's still one of those things where Bayley just has that young, like you like her, just like the innocent look, and seeing her sad just gets to you. It gets you right in the feels, and I was kind of sad when she lost. Brando, you have anything to say about the women's match?
Great match. Fantastic match here. They told a great story. Asuka's a hell of a worker, and Bayley is a great loser. And I mean that with all sincerity. On the main roster and, in NXT as well, Sami Zayn is probably the best loser on the roster. He's a guy that can wrestle his heart out, lose, sit in the ring, and look sad, and everyone's going to cheer him because they love him. And Bayley's sort of the same way. She's the underdog. And as you said, she's very girl next door. So it's like, it's almost like they the fans visualize themselves as this person. She realized her dream. She was a fan. She's us. And we're in there with her. So of course it's like, she gets probably reaction of the night. It was great to see Becky and Sasha at ringside and Charlotte there to see her and support her. Of course, the four horsewomen. Mm-hmm. Very excited. I mean, we sort of knew she was coming up. They kind of teased it at Battleground. Bayley being the mystery partner for that one-time deal, and it's like, no, dude, she's coming after TakeOver. We just got to finish up her work with with Asuka and really cement Asuka as like the woman to beat going forward by having like the last of the what sort of created the women's evolution, they're calling it now. Bayley is now on the main roster. Not to be too much of a spoil sport, but she debuted on Raw, and maybe that wasn't going to happen as soon as maybe we thought, but due to certain circumstances that we'll get to, she definitely made her debut, and it was cool.
Yeah, agreed.
You got anything to add, Nate?
I liked the match quite a bit. They're both amazing workers. I think that Bayley's destiny is to meet Sasha at the next WrestleMania 33. I just think that's the perfect thing. They had the amazing, Brooklyn TakeOver last year. Or was it right? Brooklyn TakeOver, they had the match that was amazing, or was that Dallas? I can't ever remember.
Are you talking about
Bayley and Sasha?
Sasha, that was last year at Brooklyn. They had Brooklyn,
yeah.
And then they had the one in October. I can't remember what that one was called.
Yeah,
that was the Iron Woman match. I believe it was the second one, but
yeah. But I mean, I just see that those two are destined, and Asuka.
TakeOver Respect is the name of it, just in case anybody wanted to go back and. It was TakeOver Respect.
Yes,
they main evented, didn't they?
Did you say?
They were the main event for that, weren't they?
Yes, they were. Yeah, 30-minute Iron Man match for the NXT Women's Championship.
Yeah, I look at it, and Asuka, she's still just getting her foot in NXT and really taking over. It doesn't make sense for her to lose right now. Bayley obviously can move up now and do the things she needs to do because it's necessary. They're in need of her right now on the main roster. I liked the match. They're just phenomenal talent. The women's division as a whole is totally different than it was years ago. I was joking with Sarah and V, and I said, it used to be that when the women's when the Divas matches came on, that was always, you knew it was time to take a break to the concession stand, and kind of a little bit of a joke. And I mean, and a lot of people did that because there wasn't a lot of respect. But I think they have all worked hard enough to make the WWE fans respect and honestly enjoy women's wrestling, and it's refreshing to have in the industry now. I will say that.
Yeah, I was going to say that the new match to take the wrestling break was all the Ryback matches, but I didn't know if that was appropriate or not.
The big guy, you mean?
Yeah,
the big guy formerly known as Ryback?
It's Ryback.
Yeah. He's just one guy I can't stand, but that's for another show. The last match of the night for the NXT, new NXT champion crowned as Samoa Joe was defeated by Shinsuke Nakamura. I can never say it right. But yeah, he was defeated. I like that match. That was my man. I'm telling you right now, this is hard because the last 3 matches were all awesome. So it's hard for me to even say which one was my favorite. But this match was definitely an awesome match. I'm a big Samoa Joe fan, so I'm not gonna go into how upset I was or anything. I would talk for an hour about that, but Samoa Joe was defeated. It was, like I said, I think it was an awesome match. They just beat the shit out of each other. They were just hitting each other with, finishing moves, and they wouldn't stay down. I really enjoyed the match a lot, though. Nate, what did you think of the match?
I just actually watched the match before we came on the air today. I really liked it. There were tons of awesome spots, tons of, near falls that just made you think the match was definitely over at this moment. But they told a really brilliant story. There was there wasn't a point in the match where you were just like, oh, God, I wish we'd had a winner already. I just want it to be over. You were excited to see what was coming next, and that's really good. Was Samoa Joe actually hurt in this match?
Yes.
And was his actual injury the cause for Shinsuke actually ending with the belt? Because what I noticed, one thing I want to say is, what I noticed was after he got the title, the ref slid under the ring, or not under the ring, but he slid under the ropes out to the floor where Joe was, and he started throwing up the X, as in, real injury, get out here.
Yeah, no, Nakamura was supposed to go over, but he hit with that knee. And when he hit, from what I understand, when he hit the knee, he dislocated Joe's jaw.
Damn.
So Joe was laying outside with a dislocated jaw, and they had to pop it back in. I don't know if they did that backstage. Joe has tweeted that he's good. He's okay, and that he's just waiting for the clear and the go ahead to go back to work.
Which means he's gonna challenge for this title again, or I will say again, a little bit of a spoiler alert. I was kind of bummed that Joe didn't show up on SmackDown. I don't know about you guys, but it just seemed right,
When he does come, he needs to go to SmackDown. They need guys right now.
I agree.
Yeah, he needs to go to SmackDown. I don't know. I kind of really wish that Bayley would have went to SmackDown too, but I don't know.
Well, I think Bayley. They've got plans for her that we'll talk about a little bit later. So I think originally they were going to go to SmackDown, but then they kind of thought about it and changed their mind. I hope they don't change their mind with Joe, and I hope that's where they have him going because, as I said, they need some more guys over there. They just lost Del Rio for a month, And as far as I know, Del Rio, as long as he's not happy in the company, can say deuces, I'm out. I'm leaving. That's in his contract. So.
Yeah. Well, that's NXT. NXT card. I enjoyed the show overall.
It was a good show.
Solid 4.
Overall, yeah. Are we going out of 5 or 10?
I mean, usually I'm a 5er, but I don't know about you
You're a
guys.
5er? Yeah, okay. I'd go 4 out of 5. Good show.
Yeah, I'd do 4 out of 5. I mean, yeah, like the first couple were kind of like, eh. The Bobby Roode was worth it just because of the entrance, if anything else. And then the last one was freaking amazing. All 3 of those matches, the last half of the are just freaking amazing. I'd give it a 4 out of 5 as well.
All 3 of those matches are main event worthy.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to move into Sunday for SummerSlam weekend, to the show, to the main roster, to the first pay-per-view after the full brand split with all new, the new era is done. It started now, and here we are, and it's the first big major pay-per-view. We kicked off the show with the this really large super tag team match in the the pre-show. These are matches that we did not have predictions for, so we're just going to brush on them. The Usos, American Alpha, Hype Bros defeat Breezango, the Ascension, and Vaudevillains. Standard faces versus heels in a 6-team tag team match. Sami Zayn and Neville defeating the Dudleys on their final pay-per-view for now, which we'll discuss again here in a little bit when we get to Raw. Now moving on to the actual card.
Hey, hold up.
There was one more.
I don't see another one. I have the list, but it's not showing me another one.
There was
Sheamus and Cesaro. He did the first match in the Best of 7 series.
Oh, that was the end of the pre-show.
Yeah.
I see. For whatever reason. Yeah, my bad.
That was a singles match. That's the first of the Best of 7 series. Sheamus did beat Cesaro. Just something to throw out there because there hasn't really been anything that was talked about a whole lot. The winner of this Best of 7 series, they do get a title shot, whoever wins. I just want to throw that out there because every Best of any series I've ever seen had a title on the line, but and this one didn't. So I was kind of looking into it to figure out what are they doing it for, and whoever wins will get a future title shot. I just want to throw that out there.
Oh, that's awesome. See, that's something I actually did not know. Now, we did make predictions on this match. I can successfully say that all 3 of us predicted Sheamus would win, as he did.
Nice.
So just keep track of your own individual points. Right now, it's 1-1-1. We move on to the actual event officially. I screwed that up and, for whatever reason, thought that Sheamus and Cesaro kicked the show off. They could have. That match was awesome. But we were intro.
I will say this in your defense, that was actually on the card, and as we get to the 6-woman tag team match later, and we reveal who the secret partner was, you'll see why that match was moved off the pre-show and moved on to the main event. So in your defense, that was actually on the main card before.
Oh, okay. Well, no worries. So moving on, we have Enzo and Big Cass versus Jericho and Owens. I know I went Big Cass and Enzo. Was that the same for you guys?
I don't remember.
I really don't remember either, and I wanted to go back and listen, but I will say that the first reaction I have is for Jericho to win, but I'm not just saying that because they won, but I'm a big Chris Jericho fan, so I mean, I think I said them, but I don't know.
Well, we'll just leave this as a big unknown. I know that I said Enzo and Cass, so I didn't get a point here for sure. Because Jericho wins. It was a good match. I think more than anything, man, Enzo and Cass are just so fucking over. They're the new age outlaws of this era, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just that it's not just that they do the same shtick all the time, because they have content that's completely original depending on who the match is against or whatever they're talking about or whatnot.
Yeah, but I mean, even Road Dogg always did that thing at the beginning of the match. It got the people involved. It got them engaged.
Exactly.
If you go back and watch the height of them in the Attitude Era, that entire crowd was saying Road Dogg spiel.
Didn't know?
Yeah. And then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, he did all that. Now it's, my name is Enzo Amore.
And I am a certified G and a bona fide stud. And you can't teach that. Okay. So now that we just wrestling promoed on the show, super nerds. So, yeah, that match was all right. We'll move on. Charlotte versus Sasha. I think we all picked Sasha to win. One thing that I did not know going into this was Sasha was hurt.
Yeah.
Before the match. Yeah.
I didn't know either.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I'm sure. Not to butt in, but there was news that she wasn't as hurt as bad as they thought she was. So
yeah, she won't require surgery.
Okay.
She'll be out in a few weeks. I bet she comes back.
Did they say how long she's going to be out?
About a month or two, I think I heard, is what they said.
So this is just me being me, and I'm going to ask this question, but she was only out for that long. Do you think they would have taken the title off of her, or do you think it was because they thought she was going to have surgery? I mean, what do you guys think?
They didn't know, and so they were just being cautious.
No, and I knew that, but I mean, do you think that if they would have known that it was only going to be a month or two, do you think that they still would have taken the belt off of her after that, glorious win that she had?
I think
maybe not.
It's just fictional booking. I'm just wondering what you guys think.
I mean, if we want to get into the world of fictional booking with the women's division right now on Raw, the boss is out right now. Obviously, Bayley is in. Bayley and Charlotte are going to have this thing. But at some point, you're going to have to.
I guess what I'm asking is, do you think they jumped the gun too much? Like, I'm just getting you guys' opinion on the situation.
No, I don't think they jumped the gun, because I think you have to play it safe in that regard. You don't want your champ to be out a month or more. You don't want. I mean, for God's sakes, look at it like this, man. If they think that Sasha can get through and they don't switch the title and they come out of SummerSlam and they find out that she's actually hurt, she's going to need surgery, then both your champions are going to come out on Raw. And they didn't know this when it was going down, but they're going to both have to come out on Raw and relinquish their titles? No way. They dodged a silver bullet in that regard, I think. They just said, better to play it safe. We'll just give it back to Charlotte. She's been doing just fine as the fucking first women champ in the new era. She can have the belt for the second time and be a two-time champ. She's chasing Dad's number of 16. I get it. Which means she's got to lose the title about 15 times. But fantasy booking, I want to see Sasha, Charlotte, and Bayley in a triple threat match is what I really want to see happen.
That would be awesome.
For that title, I think it would be one hell of a show. So we were all wrong there. No one gets any points. We'll move on to the IC title match. Guys, Miz and Apollo Crews, and we're going to get to the Miz here in a little bit, but I thought this was a pretty okay match. What do you guys think? We'll go with Brando first this time. Sure.
Well, the match started. I went to go put Wyatt to sleep, and when I came back out, it was over.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
a perfect representation of this match. I like it.
Putting babies to sleep. The end.
Yeah. I didn't see the fucking match. I just I came back out. I'm like, hey, commercial. They don't go commercial during mid-match on pay-per-views. And then they came back. They're like, well, they're going to go to the next match. I'm like, well, who won? Like, if it was that quick, it had to have been The Miz, right?
Yeah, he hit the, what does he call that?
Skull-crushing finale.
The skull-crushing finale. Yeah.
I hate that move.
Yeah,
it's the stroke.
It's like a full Nelson stroke.
Yeah. I will say that as far as this match goes, I was a little disappointed because I was like, you call Apollo Crews up and then like his first big match, and it's just like, why do you, I don't know. It's like you call these people up and then you think that you're gonna get these whole new generation, a new era, and then I was just like, man, like why would you call him up? And it's The Miz, who I think The Miz can do his act with or without the belt. That's just somebody that is just so easy to hate, and I just feel like he doesn't really need the belt. And Apollo Crews could have started building a legacy of some sort, but it is what it is. I was definitely wrong on that pick.
Yeah, I think
As was I. Rusev and Reigns got double the time of this match.
wow.
That's weird to think about.
Yeah, Miz and Cruz got 5 minutes 45 seconds. Rusev and Reigns got 11 minutes and 45 seconds, and the match never happened.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which, I mean, I guess we'll get to that, but
well, we don't need
yeah.
to. You just got to it. There was no result. No one was right. No one was wrong. It was just a fucking beatdown.
And that match was like after both world title matches and before the main event. Whatever. I said on the first part of this 2-part SummerSlam JIW epic that this was the most surprising thing to me. I was actually invested. I wanted to see this match, and I'm actually kind of pissed off I didn't get to see the damn match.
Well,
you know what? I was getting ready to use that same phrase that I was pissed off about it too, because no, that's just how I felt. Like, man, they actually was building up a feud with some meaningful segments. Rusev is awesome. Roman Reigns, just the things he did was good, and I wanted to see this match too. So I know exactly how you feel.
And I was of the mind that, it's the U.S. title, and while I figured, I don't know, to me this was the match that it seemed like they weren't obviously going to switch the belt. It didn't surprise me that the way they got out of it was not to make Rusev lose a match. It was for Rusev to just really get pushed to the limit and hurt, quote unquote hurt. A little bit of that, going off the script rage that I was talking about on the first part of this thing, where it seems like this era now, and we're going to get into this here in a few minutes, but it seems like this era now is pushing the boundaries of what's reality, and everything's starting to get blurred. Sometimes I'm thinking, oh, this is definitely scripted, and then sometimes I'm thinking it's not definitely scripted, and sometimes I'm thinking, man, these guys are kind of shooting on each other, and this is a different product than I'm expecting, and I like it, Now we'll jump forward. In my opinion, match of the night, I will say that only one other match was even close to the level of amazingness that this match was, in my humble opinion. But AJ Styles, John Cena. We all were in agreement. AJ Styles wins. And he did. Patrick, what did you think?
Awesome match. They hit each other with every move possible. You know what? By the end, I was waiting for AJ Styles to do, which I knew he wasn't, but I was waiting for him to do a Styles splash off the top rope. They hit each other with finishing moves upon finishing moves. Each other, AJ did the John Cena. Oh no, he used a knee on it, but it looked like the John Cena finishing move, and they were just kicking out. And this match to me was a little different, as if it seemed like that the match was going to end a little bit quicker, because it seemed like they got right to the climax of the match, where they were starting to just hit each other with things, moves, early. Then the match just kept going, and it kept going, and it kept going, to the point where I was like, I swear that earlier I saw them try some stuff, but I enjoyed the whole match. It was a really good match. It really does remind me of John Cena when he had the feud with Edge, when they brought the death out in each other. And I never thought I would hear myself say John Cena would bring out the best in AJ, but as far as the WWE, they really do mesh well together, and I really did enjoy the match a lot.
Brando, what are your thoughts, man?
I freaking was on the edge of my seat for this match. This match was absolutely fantastic. Match of the night. As you said, only one other match really came close, and I don't think it did simply because this match came first and it had to follow it.
Exactly.
But, I mean, literally, I think this is probably the only 5-star match on the entire card. Even though the other match is good, I don't think it quite got 5 stars. But, my gosh, I absolutely love the story they told. John was at his best, AJ's at his best, and the right guy went over. So often in Cena feuds, they don't put the right guy over, and they put Cena over, and have him win that last match and have him go off and ride off into the sunset. Meanwhile, and they always use the argument of like, well, it was a great match. The other guy still looks good, and trust me, if Styles would have lost here, he still would have looked like $1 million. But because he cemented that win, it means so much more. It means he's got bragging rights. And while they're actually very similar in age, Styles kind of seems like the new face. He is the face of SmackDown. You know, he is the star of that show. All due respect to Dean Ambrose, the champion. Styles is the star of the show. And him beating Cena is cementing of that. And it was a clean victory. No club involved.
Almost had the reunion of the Balor Club during SummerSlam. And then he said, nay, nay.
Oh, nay, nay.
So this next one, the next match, I don't know if you guys have anything to add for the AJ Cena match. I loved it. It was great. But after this, we have a little bit of an interesting thing because the tag team titles are on the line in this next match, and points were scored in a really bizarre way because technically speaking, Gallows and Anderson did defeat the New Day. However, that was via disqualification because the return of Big E, and the tag team titles did not switch hands. So while I called the New Day to win and retain the titles, they did in fact retain the titles. They did not in fact win, so you guys got points on that because you guys both picked Gallows and Anderson to win. This was an alright match. I thought I'll get it out there. The celebrity trying to be the wrestler shit is getting on my last nerve. I get that they do it for publicity and whatnot, and I know Jon Stewart it's not just like his first rodeo around the WWE. He's done it before, feuding with Seth Rollins last year. But I don't like it. I don't think it has a place in wrestling. I think it would have been much cooler to just have Kofi and Xavier have their chips down, get ready to get ring post-itis on themselves. Boom, Big E comes out and makes the save. The match ends. Whatever. Didn't need to have Jon Stewart in it. Just my humble opinion. Padraic, what are your thoughts?
Well, I don't like John. I did not like the Jon Stewart bit. I mean, there has been celebrities that have been in wrestling that was pretty good. But Jon Stewart, I don't really get. He doesn't add anything. He seems really out of place. I totally agree with you that his part was just not needed in this match at all. I would have liked it better if he would not been a part of it. I don't really mind the way that it went down with the disqualification law, because it can kind of drag this out a little bit, and we can get some more matches out of it, which is fine. I think that Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, I mean, if anybody is going to beat the New Day, it should be them, and whenever it does happen, but I really didn't think much of this match at all. The Jon Stewart part really annoyed the crap out of me a lot, and I just never. And not only that, but just the fact that he showed up looking the way he did in some plain T-shirt and no Just for Man in his hair, it was really annoying. I was like, what famous person comes on TV and don't do anything to themselves? But yeah, I agree. I didn't like this match wasn't much, and I didn't like the Jon Stewart involvement at all.
At least he didn't get involved in like a bigger match this year. So
That's true. Yeah, I don't know, man. And just the fact that they just threw him in this match, I didn't get it. I hated it. I hated his involvement so much.
Well, now you know that since next year is also at the Barclays Center, he's going to come back and have a trifecta, just kind of like the Pete Rose thing.
I was just getting ready to say Pete Rose. Yeah, that's great.
All right, yeah. So that was an interesting match. We'll move on to the WWE World Championship match: Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler. You guys both get a point here for calling Dean Ambrose. I said I wanted Ziggler to win out of selfish reasons, not because I figured he'd win. Good match. It did not deliver like I was hoping. I was kind of let down by this one. That's all I really have to say about that. Brando, what are your thoughts?
Same, and I was holding out my feeling on it to see where they go from here, and now after SmackDown, knowing where they go from here, for right now, it's like, okay. I mean, we'll get to SmackDown in just a few when we talk about what happened there, but this match is just okay. For Dean being the guy of the company, or the one half of the guy of the company, this match really just, it did not deliver the show-stealing capabilities as they were saying that that it could, and it just kind of fell flat for me.
PRL?
I just want to say something real quick, because I know we're going to move on, but I just want to say that this match was a big letdown for me. Looking at to see how it lasted 15 minutes and 18 seconds, I really didn't feel like it lasted that long. And when I look back at when I look at the AJ Styles and John Cena, and then the future match that we're going to recover, the Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, it was like he hit him with a move and it was done. I didn't expect it to end when it did. It was a real big letdown. And I know I picked Dean, so I mean I get the point, but at the same time, this Dolph Ziggler whole career thing, and we'll get into SmackDown later, but it's kind of just letting me down a whole lot. Like I don't know how long I can be on this Dolph Ziggler bandwagon, as we will talk about later. But yeah, the match was a big letdown for me.
I feel like Dolph Ziggler is almost what was his name? He was part of Morrison, Miz and wasn't Miz and Morrison? No. Joey Mercury, Morrison, right?
Yeah. John Morrison.
John Morrison. Yeah.
Like the Miz.
Yeah, I don't know, John Morrison. I feel like Dolph is kind of like this era's John Morrison. He just doesn't get a lot of respect.
Oh, I gotcha.
And he's very overlooked, and he's an extraordinarily talented worker. And I feel like now he's wrestling with a chip on his shoulder, and that chip is becoming very real, and it's affecting how he performs. And I think that it showed at this pay-per-view, at this event. Dolph Ziggler did not look like himself. On SmackDown, he did not look like himself. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if creative got in his head or what, but he's not been putting on matches like I would expect from him. And it's really weird. I
just want to throw this out there real
Sure.
quick before we move on,
Sure.
because it won't fit in anywhere else. So I just want to say this. But when Dean Ambrose cut that promo on him saying, all you care about is stealing the show, and I'm going to win. And then Dolph saying that he's going to prove that he does more than just steal the show, and that he's a winner and he's going to win the title. And then remember like back in the old days when a baby said that they were going to do something, like Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, it happened. Like, this is just so weird to me that they would have Dolph Ziggler be in that situation of Dean Ambrose saying, you're all show and I'm all go, and you can't win the big one and all this stuff, and then he loses. It's just, it's going to be hard for me to get behind Dolph, because it's like I still have, I've been watching wrestling for, 30 years or something, and it's just, I got that, I still sometimes have that old school mentality, And when a babyface says they're going to do something, I expect for him to do it. Or when he gets put in that situation of looking like a loser, I expect him to come out a winner. And man, he still lost. And then when we get into SmackDown, it doesn't get any better. And it's really hard for me to get behind him. I just can't believe that they're putting him in this situation. It's really weird.
Yeah, man. I agree. I think that I think it was one of those situations where they're like, oh, let's put Dean and Dolph in a match together, and then let's, call Dolph's whole career into question. And they're like, well, do we have him win? Well, no, we don't have him win because we just told Dean he was the fucking guy.
Man, I just wish they should have just left a lot of that stuff out, man. I mean, I understand wanting to build intrigue and get people invested into the match, but man, they could have just had they could have just had it as a Dolph Ziggler versus Dean. Just saying all that stuff, I really had, even though I picked Dean, I was really kind of hoping Dolph won just because of the story they built around it, and then it just didn't happen. It blows my mind that they would set somebody up on their roster to look, I don't know, weak. I don't even know how to say it because I do like Dolph, but just the fact that they did that to him, I don't know, man. Can he get out of this? Like, what do you do with him? And is he going to turn heel? Like, I just don't get it. Like, I'm really at a loss right now.
Yeah, it doesn't bode well. On the flip side, we had a match that we didn't predict because we didn't think it was going to be on the main card get bumped up to near main event status because we had a returning diva or woman.
Yeah,
they did it to me. Like you said, it's ingrained in there, man. But Becky Lynch, Naomi, and Carmella were defeated by Natalya, Alexa Bliss, and the returning Nikki Bella, which was pretty awesome. I don't know, the match wasn't bad. Brando, thoughts?
It wasn't bad.
Yeah, I know. It just wasn't.
I mean, Nikki Bella got a pretty good babyface pop when she came out, and obviously she was really excited, and it looked like they had fun out there. So, I mean, it's cool. It was something to put in between the title matches, I guess, and not really wear the crowd down. I kind of feel like maybe the Sheamus Cesaro match wouldn't have got some of the reactions it got had you put that after the last couple of matches that we had. So placing it, the structure of this card is definitely weird by having the two title matches. I guess by not having one main event in the pay-per-view, you're not picking favorites. So I don't know.
Not much to say about this one. Padraic, thoughts?
I don't have much to add either. It was a good match. I mean, showcased the women on SmackDown. We saw the future of the women's title. It was okay. I don't have much to add at all, really.
All right. Coming under that match, we had Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. A lot of big implications on the other side of this match. Finn wins, and I think we all said that he was going to win. Because obviously, I think, Brando, you said it best. Yeah, Seth has had a lot of firsts in his career, but it was time that maybe Finn got the first, and I think it's cool that maybe cements his legacy. And then right as soon as you cement his legacy, the ground gets pulled right out from under Finn Balor, down with an injury.
Out 6 months.
6 months, relinquishing the title, the whole nines. I mean, this match was good. It didn't step all the way up like I wanted it to, but I liked it. It was definitely a solid match. I think you could tell that early on Finn got hurt, and they fought through it, and it was, I think that is a testament to the worker that Finn Balor is that, it was maybe 3 or 4 minutes into their match, he got hurt, and he carried the whole match. So, well, I mean, he didn't carry the whole match, you know what I'm saying? But he got through it, and it didn't look like he was hurt the whole match. So, there's that. Brando, what were your thoughts on the match?
The match was good. I really enjoyed the match. I thought they worked really hard. They did a good job, especially with Finn getting hurt. He got hurt with sort of a similar spot that Sting got hurt last year. Although Sting was in the turnbuckle, Finn was into the guardrail. One thing I want to bring a note is that the crowd was distracted by this match. They were too distracted with the actual design of the Universal Championship, which is basically kind of what we talked about in the other episode, but a little worse.
Oh my God, they went with an all red strap.
I mean, it doesn't really look that good. It really looks like they just took like the original design and hit invert on Photoshop. I've heard it described as like it looks like a really bad creative title belt from 2K16, where the kid just changed the color of the strap. There's enough has been said about this where people are like, it's not about the design of the title, it's about what it represents. The title's called the Universal Championship. It was literally named after the fans, and the fans were shitting on it. They were saying that it's about what they're fighting for. It's like, well, I can agree with that, but right now that title doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. I don't care what you make it look like. It looks like the other title, and it's just going to confuse people. It is what it is. I had already come to terms with it, but it ended up being a little worse than what I thought. The match itself was really good. One of the things I thought about the belt that was a positive is that the red strap was going to look really cool around, Finn Balor's waist, or him carrying it when he's definitely in Demon King mode. I thought the belt would be really suited for that. But it seems like, of course, we're not going to get that for at least for a while. Hopefully he'll be back before Mania. Maybe he can win the Royal Rumble. Just saying, throwing it out there. I just super disappointed by the aftermath of this. I could have got over the design of the title. As long as there's a good story coming out of this, and unfortunately, it's like we still don't know exactly where they're going. I'm guessing Rollins is going to win, but that's just me.
You think that he's going to end up being the one that takes it in all this new Fatal 4-Way match that they have next week on Raw?
Yeah, because who's in it? It's Cass?
Yep.
Owens and Reigns and Rollins.
Yep.
Cass and Owens, they're too distracted with their own feud. Reigns is there, sure, but then it makes sense to have Rusev come out and screw him out of it, and have them actually have a freaking match and finish their feud. So I don't know who you'd have Rollins face a Clash, but I think right now Rollins is the best guy to put it on if it's not going to be Finn.
Yeah, and he's good at carrying the company, and I mean, he did work really, really fucking hard to get back and to get the title, so cool to have it. And then now, if the WWE Universe is going to shit all over this title, at least they're going to be shitting on the title while it's in the hands of a heel.
Against the guy who, during a commercial break on Raw, basically cut a promo on the fans dissing the belt. So,
really?
Yeah.
Rollins did that?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that. That's crazy.
Well, he spoke out on Twitter, basically saying that he's really that the Brooklyn fans on Summer Slam night really disappointed him. And then I think it was on Raw. It was one of those. It was a clip that was during a commercial break, or it wasn't live while the show was on, but he cut a promo on the live crowd, and basically knocking them for knocking the design of the title, thinking placing too much material value on the design of a title, and not the guys in the ring. And it's like, I respect it, but at the same time, it's like, we got more to talk about with design titles coming up. So,
oh yeah.
Moving forward, I'll take the lead with this one because match never fucking happened. Rusev and Reigns. I'm still pissed off about this. This match never fucking happened. It never even got off the ground. It was still given over 10 minutes of just bullshittery and whatever, dude. It's like, I have no other thoughts, and I think we already talked about it. So
it fucking sucked.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to this match.
I was too, and see, I actually said allowed. It was like almost like 10:30 when this match was going on. I'm like, how are they going to have enough time for both? Well, guess what? I was thinking, oh shit, it didn't happen, but I didn't realize that this match had the same exact amount of time as the main event.
Yeah, wow.
Do we want to?
It also had a dumb finish to me, but anyway.
Well, okay, let's talk about that. Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton. Brock Lesnar won by TKO. When was the last time in the WWE had a TKO win that wasn't in a slobber knocker match on like SmackDown Know Your Role?
And that's what made me mad, because this isn't something that's normal. I understand with Brock Lesnar matches you want to have blood and everything. I felt like the fact that they did these two matches next to each other, one match right after another, it's like they were saying, hey, we don't care about the next 23 minutes of your life. We're going to give you two fucked up matches, and you're just going to dislike it. Because I was not very happy with the end of this match either.
If the pay-per-view would have ended at Balor's win, it would have been, honestly, the best show of the year. But then you had a couple matches on here. Of course, we had the tag match that was Then you had the Rusev thing never happened. And then this match, which is it not just me? Did Orton only have like 2 moves of offense?
Oh, you're right. That's what it was. Yeah. I'm a big Brock Lesnar fan, and this match pissed me off. Like, the fact that and I don't know if it was just because it was right after the Rusev Roman Reigns match. I just don't understand why you would do 2 matches in a row like this. Like, it could have moved some stuff around, and like you said, the placement of the matches was weird. You did say that, and I agree with you, especially when it comes to the last 23 minutes of the night. I just felt like that this was just fucked up.
Yeah, it was weird. Well, of course, the ones we did not get to see the F5 into RKO, that would have been awesome, but I totally called the punt getting caught into an F5.
Yep.
Totally called that. But then Lesnar started hammering him with some elbows, which actually hard-weighed Randy open. He didn't blade himself. He actually busted himself open or got busted open. They eventually stopped the match. Now, honestly, the story that happened backstage is more interesting than this match is. Did you guys hear about the backstage story about this?
I did.
Jericho?
How about? Yes.
Yeah, I did hear about it. Let's go.
Apparently, Jericho was at Gorilla, saw what was going on, asked, "Is this supposed to happen?" P.S. Michael P.S. Hayes, wouldn't tell him. Lesnar was coming through the curtain. Jericho said, "This is bullshit." Lesnar gets in his face. Jericho gets in his face. Jericho backs him up into the wall. Lesnar said, "Either hit me or kiss me." Really? Oh, okay. I mean, that's kind of makes me think Lesnar's kind of he likes both, hitting and kissing, I guess. But it was broken up, and I guess Vince got kind of mad at Jericho. Triple H backed Jericho's story, saying he was just defending himself, standing up to Lesnar. And the most current update on this is that the backstage view on this is that they're talking about how much of a badass Jericho is to stepping up to Lesnar, and that people within the company noted that Jericho backed Lesnar up, during the altercation. So he actually was more of an aggressor, and that there wasn't any heat on Jericho on Raw. And so like they stopped the match. Lesnar hit an F5 on Shane, which could turn into something down the line if they wanted to.
Yeah.
So there's that. The ending of this show. Okay, so last year's ending was kind of confusing with the Undertaker ending, but at least it was an ending that we can go somewhere with. This was just, oh, hey, it's over. By the way, roll credits. I was really disappointed. This was the match that's supposed to be the main event and the big seller, and this is it. It sucked. I guess I can think no other words. 1 star out of 5. This match sucked. This match, as an actual match, it was almost as bad as the non-match of Rusev and Reigns. Yeah, I got nothing else.
Yeah, the end of the night would pick me off when it came to those 2 matches. I understand they want Brock to have blood in his matches, and I guess that Brock has a different set of rules, but I don't know. They could have still did something more. Just the way it ended, it doesn't happen. If they had knockouts frequently in WWE, then I would understand that. Just the fact that they did that just for this, I hated it. Hated it so much.
I don't know, man. To me, here's my thought. Listening back to the show we did before SummerSlam, one thing Brando said is that, to make Lesnar not win and then have him eventually challenge for that Universal title after he's been gone for a hot minute isn't smart. You want to make him be out on top. This put him in a position where, even if it wasn't planned, and again, that's that whole thing, they're starting to blur lines where you really can't tell. So with that being said, he goes in there, the whole, he bloodies up, Orton, and they call the match. That solidifies that he's bringing that reality of the UFC to the WWE, and then that makes it blur the lines more. And it continues to blur the lines until now more and more and more people. You know how many people are talking about the ending of SummerSlam this year? Tons. Because why? Because a former UFC guy went in there and literally nailed with an elbow like you would throw in the UFC on a professional wrestler and busted him up. And that's something people are talking about. It's not good for the business. I don't think, the blood isn't necessary or whatever. It is what it is. But now who stops Lesnar? You thought, oh, maybe it's Orton. Maybe Orton can stop Lesnar. No. They're making Lesnar look legitimately unbeatable. They're building him to be the unstoppable force. What thing can stop the unstoppable force? The immovable object. Well, who was the immovable object in WCW? Who needs to right a wrong from WrestleMania 20? At some point, I know it's not going to happen right away because I heard he just had surgery, but at some point it just leads me to believe the only option you have is to bring Goldberg back. He's the only other chaotic kind of wrestler in that regard. And he'll throw fists too. If you think that Lesnar and Goldberg can get in a ring together and won't actually tag each other a couple times, you're crazy, because it's going to be how it goes. But overall, I did not like the end of this match, even though I think it did serve a good purpose. So that's our SummerSlam. Now I just want a little couple takeaways here. Monday Night Raw kind of happens, guys, and Finn has to relinquish the title. We've said it a couple times here. They've also now set up several matches throughout Monday Night Raw to determine who is going to go to the Fatal 4-Way match in Houston next week to challenge for the title. We get, I don't know, where did we get to? I'm just trying to think of everything that happened on Raw. I want to make sure I don't forget anything. We had Sami Zayn versus Rollins was a match.
Mm-hmm.
Big Cass. I don't remember who Big Cass was against, though. Was it Rusev?
Yeah.
Yes.
He ran. He got. Didn't he get counted out?
That's right. He just said, "Screw this. I'm not going to stay in the match."
Which was weird for a real title, but anyway.
And then you had Kevin Owens,
Neville,
which was kind of, it was a good match, but you kind of knew KO was going to win. And then Reigns and Jericho. And this was the interesting one because I thought, they'll put Jericho in. Makes more sense. They're going to continue the feud with Rusev, which I'm sure they still can. Maybe Rusev will cost Reigns the match this coming Monday. But a few things to take away from Raw. Bayley makes her debut. Going to challenge Charlotte for the title. Overall, I thought, again, Raw was very solid. They briefly address what's going on with Lesnar. Yeah, I liked Raw. But to you guys,
don't forget one other thing with Raw, though.
I know I'm forgetting something. Enlighten me.
Dudley Boys.
Oh, my God. Thank you. Yes, the Dudley Boys make their farewell. They retire. Well, they say they're going to retire. And then, you think that they're going to put, they're going to put the shooting stars or the shining stars or whatever the hell they're called through the tables. And they don't, because Gallows and Anderson come out and really just to, again, solidify how strong and how great of a tag team Gallows and Anderson are, they put the Dudleys through the tables. What were your guys' thoughts on Raw as a whole, Brando?
It was all right. It was definitely a show that was put together at the last minute because of Balor's injury, and that's really really well evident. Bayley's debut was good. I liked that a lot. You had some good matches here. Rollins and Zayn was a pretty decent match, and I was kind of disappointed by the way that Rusev just kind of ran away, and then that was that. But I mean, because I don't know, I think it's a really odd pairing to put into the Fatal 4-Way. Because I honestly think it would have made more sense to put Rusev in the Fatal 4-Way, but then you have 3 heels and 1 face. It's like, oh well, Reigns is definitely going to win, but at the same time, then you could give it to Rollins and kind of fake it out with that. But maybe I'm nitpicking. It was an all right show. I did like that since they were still in the Barclays Center, they just left the SummerSlam set up, and so I honestly really liked that set for Raw. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I liked it too. Patrick, what are your thoughts on Raw?
I liked Raw. I thought Raw was good. A couple things that I want to talk about is I did think that the Dudley Boys, I was really hoping that it was going to lead to a main event run of Bubba Ray as he kind of pulled off in TNA, which is one of the bright spots. I was kind of I still do hope. I mean, it doesn't look like it's very, like it's likely to happen, but I do kind of hope that the Dudley Boys are gone, but Bubba Ray turns into Bully Ray like he did in TNA, because they do need some main eventers, and he's good on the mic, and he was one of the things I liked on TNA, like I said. So I was kind of hoping that we would get to see that in WWE. Other than that, I did like the Jericho and Reigns match. I thought that was a pretty good match. Bayley showing up was good, even though we knew it was going to happen at some point. It was before that. It was way sooner than I thought, but it was still good to see. I'm sad to see the Dudley Boys go just because they're legends. But yeah, if I have to pick a winner next week, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go on a limb, and I'm gonna go with Kevin Owens. Just because they do have 2 titles, and before when they had 2 titles, they would give a chance to someone who wasn't very likely. I want Kevin Owens to win it. I know it's not a very high chance, but that's who I would like to see win next week.
I could see KO winning. I can also see Rollins winning. I absolutely, no offense, can't see Big Cass winning.
No.
And I don't think it makes sense if they're still this whole keeping Reigns in the doghouse. They're not going to give it to him.
Well, yeah, because he's in the middle of the thing with Rusev, so I don't really think he would win it.
Now, there's another way to look at this.
I agree with you that Big Cass wouldn't win it. Rollins would be the obvious pick because of everything that just went down. I wouldn't be upset if he won it, though. But I just kind of want to see Kevin Owens get it, I guess. I don't know. That's just my pick. I'm just going out on a limb here.
My thought is, what if Big Cass never makes it to the match? And then Rusev gets interjected back into the match.
That's a good way. Yeah.
I mean,
they make it through the Roman Reigns and Rusev. They could continue that, but then have them go for that title. Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, how interesting would it be? You want to solidify Rusev as your top guy, as your guy of the future, the guy that you're trying to build as this Bulgarian brute that's a machine and a monster that can't be stopped. What better way than to fucking have him interject himself into the match, win the match, and be the first ever title holder that holds the Universal title and the U.S. title at the same time. Double U titles, if you will.
W.
He will be the WWE's double U champion.
Yeah,
that was bad.
That sounds like That sounds like a joke that he would make, though.
True.
Yeah, it does.
Moving
But
on.
you know what though, with Big Cass not really seeming like he's a good fit into this whole match. I mean, they could do Ruth. They could put Rusev in there, and along with just about, they could do a lot of people. They could change their mind before then and put someone else in there. Which, I mean, if you guys think back, it's been quite a few years. But remember when CM Punk was supposed to defend his title in the scramble, or was it a scramble match, and Chris Jericho took his place? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember that. And CM Punk got beat up by all of Randy Orton. Yeah, his legacy. And they put somebody else in there because at the time they just thought, well, let's put somebody else in there and we'll make it a little more interesting than, nothing against CM Punk, but, at the time, make it a little more interesting. And that's what they did. They could always do that again, too. So I can see that, Nate. And in a way, nothing against Big Cass, but I kind of hope they do.
Yeah, Big Cass is not there yet. He's in a great tag team. Why are you trying to split the tag team? If he becomes a champ, I mean, it just doesn't quite add up. Now we will take a look at SmackDown real quick before we get out of here. I don't know what your guys' timetables are, so we'll just book through SmackDown. Brando, you said you didn't get a chance to see SmackDown?
I didn't get a chance to see it. I was helping a friend move yesterday, and by the time I got back, it got dinner done. It was too late, but I did read what happened. And I did see the reveal of the new SmackDown tags, SmackDown Women's, which are the exact same title designs as the current tag and the current women's, just with blue. Mm-hmm. I'm a belt mark, and I've said this before. I love belts. I actually dig this new version of the tag title.
Yeah,
it's
me
nickel
too.
It's nickel instead of copper, and it has a really cool, some really cool tooling and leather work. So I like that, but I don't like that they just use the same ass design. And then a blue women's title is like they keep having like the women's champion show up on like Good Morning America. It's like, oh, are they gonna have the SmackDown Women's Champion go too? No. Or if they go, are they gonna specify this is the SmackDown Women's Champion, same title, different color?
Yeah, it's too confusing to the layman who's not a huge wrestling fan, who doesn't get the whole thing. They're popping in and out. Maybe they don't watch every week. They're going to get confused. Oh, well, she's the champ. Oh, well, she's the champ, but the color of the belt's different. Oh, well, I bet when she became the champ, she just changed the color like Ultimate Warrior did. That makes sense. And that's what people are going to do. It's poor. I agree. I love the tag titles. I think they're totally cool and a little bit bizarre. And I was just like, whoa, wasn't expecting that. But they're neat. I do dig them. I just want to know what their next secondary title is going to be, because the cruiserweights are coming to Raw. Does that mean we're going to get the hardcore title on SmackDown? Or are we going to get the revival of, say, the European Championship? Because I mean, bring on the European title all day. I'm down with that.
Al Snow made that title so cool.
Yes, absolutely. What does everybody want? Yeah. Don't answer that question.
Oh, sorry. I don't know.
No, you can absolutely answer it. It was just you walking into a verbal trap. What did he say on that podcast? He did not say that, did he? He did. Okay, good. So they unveiled the new titles. Quickly, Becky Lynch defeats Alexa Bliss. Nice to see Becky win in some matches. It seems like for a long time she just was the biggest loser. It was very bizarre. The Usos defeat the Ascension in a tag team championship tournament match. Doesn't really surprise me, as the Usos are kind of the golden boys for the WWE, and the Ascension has been in hot water in recent months. I believe one of them was suspended, if I'm not mistaken. DB decides to make a match between AJ Styles and Ziggler. If Ziggler wins, he is added to the already AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose match that's going to happen at Backlash. If Dolph Ziggler does not win, he's not a part of that match. AJ versus Dean Ambrose one-on-one. Carmella taking a little bit of a heel turn here and just beating the shit out of Nikki Bella. She did not hold back. Nice little segment. It was weird. This SmackDown was a lot of segments and not a lot of wrestling. I noticed that.
Me too.
Bray kind of trying to play mind games and get in the head of Randy Orton. I kind of dig that. That will be an interesting feud if they decide to go that route. It's really weird. It seems like a lot of times, Bray wasn't even on the card for SummerSlam. Think about that. To me, Bray Wyatt is super underutilized right now. How he has not won a title yet? Shocking. American Alpha defeats Breezango, so American Alpha is going to also be moving on to the semifinals of the Tag Team Championship Tournament to crown the first ever SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Oh, too many names. And then lastly, AJ defeats Dolph, which, again, why are you burying Dolph? You just keep digging the hole deeper for him to try to dig out of. I don't think it's possible at this point. But I didn't mind SmackDown. Again, I'll say it, though. Shocked that they didn't have Joe come up. Might as well just do it,
I think they're gonna have one more match with him and Nakamura, and honestly, as far as Dolph goes, it's like I think they chose they could have done another match with Dean. And I think a second match would have been better, way better, with more heat. But they obviously have chosen AJ over Dolph. AJ has a lot of momentum coming off the Cena thing, and I've predicted that within 6 months he's going to be WWE World Champion. And you know what? I would not be surprised is at Backlash they just give it to him, and then Dean's run isn't so much of Dean's now the guy. Of Dean was just holding this until AJ was out of the Cena feud.
Yeah, which is likely what they're going to do. AJ can work great with anybody, but again, I'll say it, this Ziggler match it was good, but it wasn't what I was expecting. These two, I expected fireworks, I expected constant holy shits, and this is awesome, and none of those things were happening because it was just a decent match. And I know you can't have amazing matches all the time, but for these two having the first match against each other, I was really hoping it was going to be a little more special. Yeah? No?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I was kind of hoping that he was going to get thrown into the mix of the three-way just because, like I said earlier, once you bury him so much, what do you do? And once again, he lost again, and that really, I wasn't really happy about that. I don't know. I guess that in a way, they kind of think sometimes that they can bury, just because they work with Daniel Bryan, they think they can bury somebody over and over, and it gets the fans, behind them. But that doesn't always work. And in this case, it's not really working for me because I'm getting to be, quite annoyed by the fact that Dolph was losing and losing and losing. I like SmackDown. The only other thing I want to add is that they everybody's favorite free agent Heath Slater came out and he got himself put into the tag team tournament, and it's cool for a couple reasons because the fact that he got himself put in and he went looking for a partner and he found a partner in Rhino. Now the only way that he's going to get signed permanently to SmackDown is if he wins the whole tournament. But the other thing that's cool is if you guys notice from Summer Slam and, everything like that there's only 6 teams. And Shane said that he was going to find another team to go up against Heath Slater and his partner that he found. Well, he found Rhino. Now I kind of wonder what the other team is going to be that's going to show up. And I'm interested into seeing if I don't really see Heath Slater and Rhino winning the whole thing. But it's kind of a cool storyline. I think it's going to end up being something kind of humorous or at least intriguing to see who this other team is going to be and how everything goes down. So that's something I'm looking forward to next week as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure, what free agent tag teams are even available to bring to SmackDown. But it seems like there's a lot of different guys they've been in contact with trying to get them back. So, you know what an interesting... you want to talk about, listen, I doubt this happens, but it just in fantasy land where I come from, this would be really cool. What if the team was a team comprised of Carlito and MVP.
MVP is not coming back.
No?
Nope,
No.
that's done.
It's a lot of wrestlers who don't want to come back because of the fact that they know that it's going to be every week. Like Jinder Mahal is doing.
Yeah, but you surprised the hell out of me because I didn't know he was back. For whatever reason, I missed that match that you were telling me about. And,
It was really short.
yeah, and then it was like, oh, Jinder Mahal's back. Cool, maybe he'll be the guy.
Yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off, Brando. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, guys, that that my son's getting ready to go to bed here soon, so I personally need to jump off here.
Okay, well, I mean, I think that was it for our Journey into Wrestling episode.
I did want to say real quickly, thoughts go out to Michelle McCool and Undertaker. She got diagnosed with skin cancer.
Oh. That's awful.
I just saw that as we were just sitting here kind of wrapping up, and so you definitely want to say that.
Happy 71st birthday, Vince McMahon. If that's going to do it for this, what?
I said, oh my, I forgot he was that old.
Yeah, he's old as hell. All right, well, if that's going to do it, folks, this was Journey into Wrestling episode 7, again, here on the Journey into Comics YouTube channel. Make sure to go to journeyintocomics.podbean.com to check out everything we're doing on our main feed. But if that's going to do it this week, I'm Nate.
I'm Brando.
I'm Padraic.
And this was Journey into Wrestling. Thanks for listening.